feel your energy here. Shout out the greatest, yeah, you taught me life prosperous. Even in the darkness, you was speaking on that consciousness. Energy don't die, it transfer, we infinite.
What's up, guys? Whew. My day off, it's great. Now let's get to making this content, you know what I mean? The spiritual shit. You know what I mean? I believe I got the house to myself. Okay. So I got the house to myself. We're chilling. Which means we could talk freely. It's great. Let me just turn off that programming, aka the TV. There we go. Let me get some lighting here. We need some fucking lighting, don't we? There we go. Now we're talking. It's a good day. It's hot, but it's a good day. And I hope you guys' day is going good. Hopefully not as hot as it is over here for me in California right now. But, you know, it is what it is. We're making the most of it. Man, consciousness. It's a beautiful game. Beautiful thing. This video is about how the mind creates prisons. Awareness opens the door. And, like, you gotta understand, escaping the matrix isn't just about, you know, escaping the 9 to 5 or the controls, the whatever that they put upon us, whatever the elites, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's about also escaping the matrix within your own mind. Because a lot of the times we create our own limiting beliefs and ideas and all that. You know, for the most part, you're the one stopping yourself. Most of the time, it's just you. So escaping the matrix starts with escaping the matrix of your own mind. And remembering that you are the awareness beyond these beliefs and limiting ideas or whatever identities that you've created. Like, imagine spending your entire life inside prison, right? Not inside a prison, and not a physical prison, a physiological one. A prison built from thoughts, from fears, from assumptions, from stories repeated so often that they begin to feel like reality. That's what the ego does, you know what I mean? The ego takes a temporary thought, a belief, an identity, well, it turns that thought and a belief into an identity and fear. And then at that point, a fear becomes, this is who I am, you know? And then a failure becomes, this is what I've always been, this is what I'll always be. And then a wound becomes, this is my future. And slowly the walls get thicker. Not because reality changed, but because identification with it deepened. Most people don't suffer from reality itself. They suffer from the mind's interpretation of reality, right? The story, the meaning, the narrative they've been given, everything. And here's a strange thing. The mind rarely questions its own prison. Because the ego doesn't want freedom, it wants certainty. It wants proof, even painful certainty, right? A familiar cage often feels safer than an unknown horizon. That's why people get trapped and stay trapped in old patterns, old identities, old beliefs, old emotional loops, not because they can't leave, but simply because the mind convinced them that the prison is who they are, you know what I mean? The limiting beliefs, the limiting identities is who they are. That's all they are. That's what they believe. But awareness changes everything. Awareness doesn't argue with every thought, every belief. It observes. It doesn't identify. It just reflects. It doesn't react. It notices. It witnesses. And in witnessing, space appears. You know, you begin seeing thoughts as events, not truths. Clouds, like clouds passing through consciousness, not the sky itself. That's the beginning of awakening. It's the realization that you are not every thought that enters your mind or belief. You are simply the awareness observing those thoughts. And once that realization deepens, the prison starts dissolving. Not because someone rescued you, but because reality changed. Not because reality changed either, but because awareness finally saw the door. You remembered that you're beyond all those limiting beliefs and thoughts. You are awareness. You are the observer. So like the door was always there, hidden behind fear, hidden behind the conditioning, hidden behind the identification. The ego says, sorry, there's something in my mouth. Ugh. The ego says you are trapped, whereas awareness says, look closer. And when you do, you discover something beautiful. The prison was made of thoughts, beliefs, ideas, conditionings, but awareness was always free beyond all that shit. And that's when you remember that you are simply beyond all those labels and identifications and ideas, is when you feel more liberated. Because most of the time, where did we get these ideas from? Where do we get these identifications from? The ego. Well, simply passed down from our parents and from their parents and their parents and so on. So you have to sit down with yourself and question, why do I even believe this? Were these ideas given to me because I adapted from them, from the people I grew up with? And then you get to choose, does that have so much of a meaning on you and your reality? Because it probably doesn't have to. For the most majority of my life, I believed that I wasn't talented. I believed that I wasn't good enough. And I started to realize that I got that from my mom. My mom got that. We're all empathic, we're all connected. And so I absorbed those limiting beliefs and ideas from my mom. And then she got that from her mom, or her sisters and brothers. And because she never became aware of it, she was never able to heal that limiting belief and idea of herself. But when you awaken out of that cycle, out of the family, karmic cycle, whatever, you're finally the one that's liberated. You get to choose differently. You get to remember that you are not that. You break the cycle. The black sheep, you become, whatever. So you get to a point in your awakening and realization that, where did I get these beliefs from, these ideas? Do they serve me? Probably not, right? Are they me? Nah. And when you remember that you're not the limiting beliefs or ideas or thoughts that you thought you were this whole time, but you are simply the spirit, the awareness observing it all, observing this form, observing this human experience, you take your power back because you see that it was just that you were attaching yourself and identifying to these limiting beliefs and thoughts for so long, believing that that's you and that's been you and that's set in stone and whatever. But you got to understand that nothing is solid. Your energy, everything is energy. Everything's always shifting. Every moment's a new moment, and every moment you're creating a reality. So when you remember that it's not set in stone, because you're not a static being, you get to choose and remember and rewrite your script, It doesn't have to have so much of a power over you, because for so long, through unawareness, through unconsciousness, through believing that that is all you were just creating that same story over and over again. But when you remember that you are the awareness, you are the observer, you are the energy that flows through this physical form, you allow for space to be cleared and purged. All those thoughts, all those old limiting beliefs and ideas and identifications that you made, they purge out. And through breathing and meditation, you allow for the higher you to connect, the higher self. And you don't have to allow for these limiting beliefs and ideas to have a hold of your life anymore. You know what I'm talking about, Only you know. Only you know. Now it's up for you to do the inner work. It's up for you to change your script, because remember, we are both the director and the actor in our movie. So how do you want it to go? What part do you want to play? What of the script of this movie do you want to change, And once you do, you're going to notice that every day forward, because every moment's a new moment and every day is a new day, you'll notice how different you'll feel, how light and free you'll feel, because you finally aren't identifying and attaching to these old beliefs and ideas and identifications of yourself that you thought you were. You remembered that you've always been more. And when you remember that you're more, freedom, new things come. You'll feel new things. You'll feel better. You'll feel lighter. You'll feel freer. You'll see new opportunities being presented to you. You'll meet new people because they're no longer vibrating in the same frequency that you were at, right? Bless you. I heard someone sneeze. But anyways, that's it for the day. A quick little video about how when you escape the prison in your mind, the matrix of your mind, you are free. Because most of the time, the only thing that's holding you back is yourself. And when you escape the matrix of your mind, then you can work on escaping the matrix of everything else. You can work on chasing your dreams, doing the things you're passionate about, because you'll notice that once you escape the prison in your mind, it's going to be easier for you to accomplish the things that you've been wanting to do. Your passions, everything. You got this. Namaste, lady. See you in the next video.
Outside the simulation, I don't feel the same. Everything they just feels like a game. Outside the simulation, I just stay awake while they sleep inside the illusion they create. Outside the simulation, outside the simulation.